Today we're going to do a pretty simple job of replacing the air filter on a 2005 Chrysler Town & Country. This has the 3.8 liter engine in it. Would be the same for a 3.3 liter. I'm sure very similar for Dodge Caravans and other similar vehicles of this style. Your air filter is located underneath this box. It should be replaced about every 12,000 miles. This box is held on with a couple of metal clips, one here and one in the back here. There's a small hose that just kind of goes through a little slot there. Just pop that out. This hose here that goes over to your PCV inlet, that tube should pop off of here pretty easy. And then there's a screw right down here, back that off, and then you can get this snorkel tube to come off of the box. There's this little tube on the side, goes into a little slot, pops right out of there pretty easy. That goes on up. That is your windshield washer tube. It's where the fluid goes in. Two of these clips, this one here, these just pop on, pop off. There's another one back over here. There's an inlet air temperature sensor that you should not need to remove. Once you get this snorkel loose over here, we should be able to wiggle it off and get it out of the way. Give that a few turns. Once you have this little hose pulled out of the way and you have this hose pulled out of the way, go ahead and get this screw here loose. For now we're going to go ahead and leave these clips installed so that things don't move around on us as much. And just come in here and wiggle this off. If you do take note, when we put it back together, there's a slot right here that kind of lines up right in the middle there. So just wiggle it and it'll come off. Now go ahead, undo these clips. If you weren't holding the camera, you'd have two hands. Just pull this back out of the way, lift this up. It's kind of hinged. Back in the back, there's those three tabs. They kind of form a hinge. They drop into there, so just pop the front end up here, and then this will pull out and set it off to the side. Now just note the direction that the air filter is installed there. You've got the metal screen side up. You've got the pleated filter side down. So just go ahead and get that up and out of the way. We'll kind of inspect that filter. It doesn't look incredibly dirty. It's not packed with a lot of large material. When I look inside the filter box, there is quite a bit of debris, pieces of leaves and things like that. You're going to want to clean that out. Make sure there's nothing in this tube here. Get that cleaned out. We'll drop the new filter in there. You could use a vacuum to clean that out, or just a damp towel or shop towel. Wipe that out. Usually the upper part of that box is not going to be very dirty. but you can check if anything's in there, clean that out as well. I've got that filter box cleaned out, kind of paying special attention to this groove around here where your filter drops into, and it's going to have to make a seal there. Make sure that track is free of all debris. Go ahead and get your new filter, make sure it's the same size as the old one. Then you're just going to take it and drop it into the slot here. Make sure it falls in place there, everything's nice and flat, moves around okay. Then you're going to grab your housing here, take these back 3 hooks, stick them in the slots over there, tilt the front down and around this hose, and then we'll slip this hose back on, put the small hose on, then put this kind of breather tube hose back in there, tighten the clips, tighten the clamp, and we'll be done. Tighten that clip. Got this clip in the back here. Get that one kind of pushed down a little bit on the filter housing. Get that clip up and over. Go ahead and take this little hose here, pop that in the slot. Get your big breather inlet snorkel hose, work it back over. Pop this snorkel tube back on. Make sure it's all the way in and that the notch falls into the slot here. Going to go ahead and tighten this up till it's snug. Just one-handed, screwdriver tight. Don't have to go crazy. Go ahead and pop this little breather tube back on. You're done. I want to do a little inspection of this inlet flex tube here, snorkel tube. If that gets old and cracks and has any rips in it, you're going to want to get that replaced, because that would let air directly into the engine without going through the filter. So if this is damaged, you can get a new one. Or you could try going to the junkyard, but inspect that and make sure there's no rips, tears, or deterioration from, getting old and brittle. Just go ahead and start it. Make sure you don't hear any sucking, like a vacuum leak, anything like that. Give it a wiggle, make sure everything's tight. Make sure your engine air temperature sensor didn't come undone. Everything looks like it's in place and snap back in. Clamps tight. Both clips are snapped in place.